Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about a record-breaking early voting, hand counts, playing investigator, challenge voters, and a whole bunch of news coming out of Georgia. First, former President Jimmy Carter achieved his goal of living long enough to vote for Harris. So, that leads us to talking about how early voting is going in the state. Officials with the Georgia Secretary of State's office have reported a record-breaking first day of early voting and accepted absentees with over 328,000 total votes cast so far. That's reportedly more than double what was cast on the first day in 2020. The trend of massive turnout continued on the second day. Absentee voting looks like it's moving along as well, with the Secretary of State saying, quote, "So far, we have seen just over 250,000 voters request absentee ballots. Perhaps in the next week or so, we'll see that rise up to 300,000. And that, we think, will probably look like around 5 to 6% of all voters will be voting absentee this cycle." The Secretary of State also pointed out something we all need to pay attention to and remember, because I'm sure it will become an issue and the source of wild claims. Raffensperger said they would be ensuring the security of the election and conducting random audits. He said they would be, quote, "pulling out a piece of equipment, a random audit on election day, bring it to headquarters, and then verify that it is recording the votes accurately, that it has not been hacked by any bad actors out there." I feel like photos of this process set to dramatic music will be used to falsely cast doubt on the elections. Now, let's look at Republican challenges to voters in Georgia. There was an organized push in Georgia by Trump allies to remove Georgians from the rolls through challenges. An AP investigation found that 63,000 Georgians were challenged. Barely 1% of those challenges have been successful. When it comes to legal rulings, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney wrote an 11-page ruling rejecting the argument of a Republican-led effort that would allow local election officials to investigate before certifying election results. The judge found that since officials have a fixed obligation to certify the results, quote, "no election superintendent or member of a board of elections and registration may refuse to certify or abstain from certifying election results under any circumstance." He went on to say that the voices of Georgians would be silenced if election officials could stall certifications and were, quote, "free to play investigator, prosecutor, jury, and judge." The same judge also blocked the rule that would require hand counting the ballots after hearing the rule was enacted too late to give the Secretary of State's office time to provide training or guidance, saying, quote, "the administrative chaos that will, may, not may, ensue is entirely inconsistent with the obligations of our boards of elections and the SEB to ensure that our elections are fair, legal, and orderly." In that instance, the judge didn't seem opposed to the rule itself, just the late timing of it. The next day, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Thomas Cox, Jr., in a separate case, shot down a number of rules, including the hand count rule created by the State Election Board, saying, quote, "has no constitutional authority to promulgate these rules." It's worth noting that the conservative chair of the committee has been outspoken in opposing the MAGA activists on the board. We'll put a video below. So far, the court decisions are going in the direction of making sure there's a free election without interference from MAGA obstructionists. But be ready for more decisions as a flurry of hearings and likely appeals will play out soon. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.